Guys, today we talk about The Secret Life of Pets 2. That I actually unboxed this movie, but it was in my I never watched movie list. So it's in the list of movies I bought, but I never watched. I was like, you know what? I bought this, I unboxed this. I should give this a chance. It might be good, it might be bad. So I said, you know what? I'm going to watch The Secret Life of Pets. So is The Secret Life of Pets good or bad? So it's an Illumination movie. The animation quality is basically the same as the first movie. Of course, you don't really have to spend a lot of money on many new models for the older characters. There's the only company that really does is Pixar, with the update models for the newer age of for newer animation. But it's mostly more the same as the first movie. But what I expected the first movie is what this movie is basically is. Basically, the pets they do something while the owners are gone. Stuff happens in the movie, and they get into all kinds of bad things, and all of the bad things would connect with each other. And this is how I imagined the first movie would be. But I said the first movie was basically like similar to other stories as well. This is Boss Baby and Toy Story, which are the best comparisons. Again, those story is original. Of course, we all know that. That's basically a fact of entertainment. No story is original, or else all stories will be derivative of of course, hero's journey storyline, which is basically 95% of the stories are basically derivative of the hero's journey. But Pets 2 was not actually that bad of a movie. Especially if you have a kid or someone who would enjoy this movie thoroughly or like the first movie, they would probably like this movie. But again, they could have made this movie into like a TV show or something. I don't think it's really a worthy as being its own movie. It's would have been like a TV show or something, which I think would have been more fitting for the sequel of for a movie like this. But the plot basically there's a kid with the first dog's apartment. I think his name is Max. Max, yeah, the first dog. Then there's also the other part with the where the girl dog has to protect the bee, and it goes with all the cats, and she has to warn the way of the cat to understand how the cats work. She has to warn and understand the way of the cat. I thought that was pretty funny because she has to understand the way of the cat because or else she won't ever get it back. There's also the other part, which is the main part of the movie, with Snowball, the mean rabbit from the first movie, who is now a superhero, who pretends to now be a superhero, and now he's going around to go save, of course, the tiger with the other dog, basically because the tiger is being abused by its owner, which I think is the owner, of course, is a very bad person for abusing the tiger, of course. You know, he also looks like a character from Hotel Transylvania as well. And, you know, basically that's how this movie is. And, yeah, this movie is also has a few laughs and a few funny moments in between. And there's also the water part where Max has to go to the farm and basically he has to learn how to, he hates the new environment, but basically it's a lesson like you have to, no matter what. Basically, this movie's big lesson is no matter what life throws at you, you have to roll with it. Basically, that's this movie's big lesson, and that's a lesson that isn't really explored, in this movie. Of course, don't face your fears is a lesson that's been faced in many other movies already. But this movie does not really repeat the same lessons. Oh yeah, friendship or love. It's a different lesson. Like that is typically in most animated movies. Most animated movies usually typically take the same lesson. Oh yeah, friendship, blah 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 blah. You have to learn to accept friendship. You have to learn to accept others that are different than you. This movie is a different lesson. Well, basically, no matter what life throws at you, you always have to accept it, which is the change of the kid. Because the first movie, he didn't. The first movie was him going to gain over change, and the second movie is gain over his fears. I wonder what the third movie is gonna be about as well. But you really start to see this character who, in the first movie, he was this egotistical dog. He was this egotistical dog. He wanted to get the all the attention to himself. But he really actually starts to grow as a character in this movie. The accepting basically, yeah, life, no matter what happens, life always throws new changes at you in the movie, and most of the animals accept that as well. So there we go about Secret Life of Pets 2. So I'll give this movie, okay, I'll give this movie around a 6.7 out of 10 because it is Illumination. But I think that this movie was really impacted by of course, the abysmal box office of 2019 was, of course, it was the only, but of course, because it wasn't a Disney movie, it didn't do too well as well. So, yeah, this movie still made a ton of money because it made a $444 million, have an $80 million budget. And, yeah, this movie didn't really do too well at the box office because people, I think, are getting sick of Illumination, or it's because of Disney's monopoly, which could be either one of those ways, or people are getting sick of sequels, you know, as well. So, because it made half the first movie, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get a third movie either way. So that's basically it. Goodbye.